How is everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero and welcome back to another reaction video. This time we are reacting to Narrated D&D Story, How My Players Learned What Chaotic Neutral Means by All Things D&D. Alright, so straight off the bat, special thanks to Joey over on Discord for this amazing suggestion. Thank you so much, Joey. But I wanted, I guess, a little backstory before we start this. I'm a huge fan of D&D without ever playing D&D. Yeah. I watched like College Humor, their Dropout series of when they play D&D. I'm a huge fan of that. I love watching D&D stuff. But I've just never had the opportunity to actually play D&D before. One time, a couple years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I was invited to a group, and I was super excited. I made my character and everything, made the backstory, made all the stats. I was so excited. I drew my little character and his costume and everything. And then things went south and I had to move here. So yeah, it never happened. I was never actually, I was so close to finally joining a D&D group, but alas, the stars didn't align properly to where my wish was not granted. But I don't know a lot about D&D. I mean, I know maybe more than like the average person that's never played D&D before, but all around like the main, like all the details I don't know, if that makes sense, right? But yeah, without any further ado, here is Narrated Story D&D, How My Players Learned What Chaotic Neutral Means. Oh, starting off in an amazing logo sequence. Logo.
How My Players Learned What Chaotic Neutral Means. This story was submitted by one of our very own viewers, Azrael. Thank
Nice.
you. The way I have
Like the
always
name.
felt is that both the players and the DM deserve to have a good time. And
Agreed.
regardless of what side of the screen I'm sitting, I try hard to make sure that happens.
Okay.
As the DM, after a very extensive Session 0, where we hashed out all the rules and expectations, the 4 relevant ones to this story being no evil PCs, read
Okay.
the world lore,
Okay.
cinematics, and actions have consequences.
Yes.
We began our
Just
campaign.
like real life.
I've been playing and DMing for about 25 years now, so I'm good at rolling with the punches and improv.
25
But I also
years.
create a rich, organic,
Lucky.
living, breathing world for the PCs to interact with.
Nice.
Full of complex plot hooks that ruin their own course without PC interaction.
Okay.
I'm a world builder, and I care about verisimilitude, to provide my players a world they can get lost in. But I'm also a realist, so this world lore is only about 2.5 pages, one-sided text. And for those not familiar with the term, a cinematic, much like a cutscene in video games, is a period of time where the DM gets to monologue a bit, to set
Okay.
important scenes,
That's
without
cool.
the players interrupting. Well, I knew from the beginning that this was going to be bad. The PCs were every mix of race and class, so all the party roles were filled. But the one thing that they all had in common, they were all chaotic neutral. Which,
All
as
of
any
them?
DM worth their salt knows, is the alignment PCs pick when they can't be evil, but still want to be an a-hole. If I know all this, why did I allow it? Long story short, I hadn't played in a long time, and I was desperate enough to try to make it work. Well,
Alright.
it went as you might imagine. If they weren't raping and pillaging, they were just outright killing any NPC I put in front of them. I was getting more and
Why?
more dejected, frustrated, and pissed off. I wasn't having any fun, and was ready to just call it quits and drop the game, when a
Aw.
brilliant and evil idea came to me. They wanted an evil campaign? Done. They wanted to kill everything? Done. Wanted to feel epic and unstoppable? Done. They wanted to feel like
Give 'em what they
heroes
want.
charging across the countryside, leaving a wake of bodies and destruction in their path? Done. Over the next year, my plan slowly unfurled, and I loved every minute of it. The plot hook.
Are you
A
chaotic
rumor
neutral,
whispered
buddy?
in a tavern of a village of necromancers, and they were hooked. They go to the village, and the first thing they see is the tiny zombie of a little girl. She is horribly decayed, practically bones, but her
I mean,
clothes
she's a
are
zombie,
very
but
well
still,
tended.
she's a
And
little
as she
girl.
shambles towards the party, the paladin can even see dozens of little yellow ribbons, delicately tied in her hair, in contrast to her dark green dress.
They're
I
not going
barely
to kill
had
her,
the
are they?
description out of my mouth when the paladin yells "smite" and
Ah.
obliterates her. From a nearby house, the party hears the piercing shriek of a woman howling in pain, shock, and rage. A woman wearing a dark cloak comes charging out of the house at the paladin, screaming "Sarah!" with her hands in front of her
name
like
was
talons,
Sarah.
clearly intent on strangling the paladin.
Oh.
There is a commotion from the other houses in town. Roll initiative. The fight goes as you'd expect it. The party kills every last necromancer and undead in town. Every man, woman, and child. Even a couple of cats and dogs.
Why?
And when they're done, they take everything valuable and then burn the village to the ground.
Oh my.
They ignored all the descriptions of the insides of the houses and focused on just what looks expensive. Blatantly brush off my descriptions of the undead and the tools they're using to attack and defend.
It's gonna bite them in the butt.
Impatiently interrupt me to attack as I try to roleplay the Necro's questions and pleas. Basically, being the worst possible group of people sitting around a table a DM has ever had to endure.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. Now, for those of you thinking this is a trick or an illusion, it's not. It is a village of necromancers, and there are lots of undead. Actually, I forgot something. The players did spare one woman necromancer to brutally torture information out of her.
Why?
In order to find out more information about other cabals and mini-bosses.
Come on,
because
man!
Obviously, these are peon necros. Which, of course, they insisted on role-playing that in graphic detail for the rest of the session. About
Why
1.5 hours. When they
One
were
and a
done
half
with her,
hours?
They crucified her alive as a warning to other necromancers.
Bro!
She didn't survive the process.
Really?
The next few months were pretty much a rinse repeat of this, with increasingly more powerful undead and necromancers to challenge them. With me trying relentlessly to describe the world, and they relentlessly ignoring me. With one exception. They started to hear rumors of an evil group of mercenaries going around. Strange powers, wielding mighty weapons, slaughtering whole villages and leaving no survivors.
Is it them?
There's a bounty that grows larger and larger each time they hear a new rumor. But no matter how hard they pursue them, they never seem to catch up to them. They run across random encounters with groups of bandits that get stronger and stronger, but the mercenaries seem to always be one step ahead. It was a thorn in their side, and some of the players even pulled me aside from time to tell me it really pissed them off that I kept dangling these guys, with good loot, under their noses, but never let them fight them. Side note,
how do you think I feel?
Every time they encounter a boss, they've gotten a cinematic. They're getting used to this. This is usually met with sighs, eye rolls, and half the group pulling out their phones to fiddle with until I say the beloved
Why bother
words,
play D&D
roll
then?
initiative. Am I pissed? Nope. Couldn't be happier. Fast forward to the end of the campaign. They've finally uncovered that there's an archlich behind all this, training necromancers to raise countless hordes of the undead. They've finally discovered his lair. They've breached his defenses, stormed the gates, and carved their way to his throne room.
All good things.
They've killed everything that could stand between him and them.
Not good.
The corridor leading up to the throne room is silent and empty, and the party can hear their footsteps ringing on the stone floor as they stride across the empty space. They are super stoked about this last battle, and finally get to kill the BBEG. The paladin crashes through the throne room doors, and I say, roll initiative. For the first time, the group looks up, uncertain and confused. Some of them had even started pulling out their phones, expecting a cinematic, and a cheesy epic BBEG speech. Also, for the first time, I stand up and roll the Archlich's initiative right in front of them. I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes I just know when the dice are in my favor.
Yes.
And wouldn't you know it, the dice gods are smiling on me.
Yes!
Nat 20 on the die. The PCs
Nat
don't
20?
even come close, but the paladin does roll the highest. Since it's my turn first, I get to take my time. An evil grin spreads across my face. A year in the making, and my patience has finally come to fruition. I begin to speak. Man? You stare across the empty room, and you see a wizened old man in plain robes, sitting on the throne, staring back at you, with eyes that glow with an unholy eldritch light. He slumps there, looking tired and defeated. In his hand, he holds a porcelain latticework in the shape of a small human heart.
Oh?
It glows with a soft, pure white light that pulses in the rhythm of a
wondering
heartbeat.
what that was.
He looks down at it, and you see pain wash across his face. Paladin
You okay,
player,
buddy?
DM. It's still my turn. Looking up from the heart, he addresses the party. After the gods left, people were lost.
Ooh,
Many came to
a
me
good voice.
looking for answers, but with all my knowledge, I came up short. What does a wizard
Sounds
know
like
about
Dalius.
gods? And then, the plague came. I did the best I could with my limited abilities, but I'm no healer. People still died, horribly. He looks back down at the little heart cradled in his hand and smiles sadly. So many died. Pretty soon the dead outnumbered the living, and there weren't enough hands to tend the farms. Those that survived the plague were starving to death. I had to do something.
What'd you
So, I turned to necromancy.
do?
The dead could till soil.
Makes
The
sense.
dead could plant seeds. The dead could harvest the grain.
you're desperate
with
enough.
Guidance. I focused all my magic and all my spells on bringing the dead back. But I am just one man. I wasn't strong enough.
Oh.
They begged me to teach them, and light helped me. I did. Pretty soon there were enough elders that I could go back to focusing on finding a cure. I told them that their loved ones were gone, that it was just their bodies left behind.
That's so
That
sad.
they were at peace.
Okay.
You have to understand.
I guess.
Some had lost their whole families.
husbands,
Why is it
wives,
so sad?
sisters, brothers, children. I think all the deaths broke them somehow. I think they like to imagine their kin were still there, and I
Aw.
let them.
No.
Hope is a fragile thing, you know?
That is
In
terrible.
the meantime, I kept looking for a cure for the plague, and I kept looking for a way to bring the dead all the way back. And then I got sick. You know, I hired
Just keeps getting
adventurers
more
to try to stop
depressing.
you. I thought there might be some heroes out there who could defeat you. I bled our coffers dry, but you always won. You always won. I knew the symptoms. I'd seen it often enough. It was just a matter of months of wasting away in agony, and then I would be gone too. After years of failure, I almost welcomed it. I already knew how to beat death by then, of course, but the cost was unspeakable, and I was still looking for another way. His eyes take on a look of puzzled wonder. But they wouldn't let me die. They begged me to stay.
Oh,
They begged
bro.
me to try. They wouldn't relent. They hounded me relentlessly, until in a fit of rage, I told them that it involved the willing sacrifice of a child of pure heart. I figured that would be the end of that. I was such a fool. He looks down with a sad, fond smile,
Is it
and
the
caresses the heart
very
gently
first zombie?
as tears begin to trickle down his face. She came to me with her mother, my daughter, and said, "Grampy, it's okay. You won't be sick anymore, and then you can make everyone else not sick anymore." She was so brave, my little sunflower.
Don't say
She even
Sarah.
looked like a little sunflower that day, with a riot of little yellow ribbons in
Oh,
her hair.
god damn it.
She was still smiling, right up to the moment I took her soul. This is all that's left of her, gesturing to the heart. Her soul keeps me alive. It is between somehow. I don't know what will happen to her if it is ever destroyed. Will she go somewhere evil? Somewhere better? Or will she just be lost to limbo? In all my research, I never learned. That fear is the only thing that's kept me from smashing it all these years, and the chance to learn how to bring her back.
I'm not crying,
Not that
you're
it
crying.
matters now, I suppose. You've destroyed my research. You've burned all the fields. You've destroyed all the kin. You've slaughtered the elders, too. The few living, if you let any survive, will be dead by next winter from starvation and exposure.
Bro.
Everything is gone. Or
But the players
soon
feel
will
like
be.
douchebags.
With one last look of sorrow, he takes the heart in both hands, kisses it gently, and says,
Forgive me, Sarah.
when he crushes the surprisingly delicate heart, it crumbles to dust. The soft light immediately dissipates and plunges the room into darkness,
I
save
knew it
for his
was
two
Sarah.
glowing eyes. He stands up with a weary sigh, walks 15 feet up to the paladin and says,
Finish it.
DM, okay, your turn. Paladin player with all eyes on him, some of them quite damp.
I guess I attack?
As he reaches for his dice, I interrupt. Don't bother, he's flat-footed, no armor or defensive spells. Your bonuses are higher than his AC. Looking for his damage dice.
Then...
DM, don't worry about that either. The plague really did a number on him before he changed. He's only got 1 HP. He's dead.
Bro.
And that heart was his phylactery, in case you didn't gather. So he's dead. Congratulations. You won. You rule an empty kingdom, from a decaying castle, surrounded by a barren wasteland of death and destruction, brought by your own hands. The end. The silence
Wow.
was deafening. Are we the baddies.jpg? These players learned that actions have consequences. How would you have
Yeah.
handled a group of players like this? Did I,
I mean-
perhaps go overboard a tiny bit at least? Please let us know in comment below.
No.
Don't forget to subscribe
it
to
was
our channel, All
justified.
Things D&D. Our next video will be posted
That
in
was
3
good.
days, so stay tuned for more amazing Dungeons & Dragons content.
I'm way late, man. But thank you. Aha. Okay. Alright. I'm kinda iffy on that. It was great. Like, the video was great, don't get me wrong. I'm iffy about the story. Cause it's like he said at the very end, it's like, was the guy that wrote the story, was he justified in doing so? Because the party was nothing but a-holes, like he put in the video. So, like, just to do something like that, just to, like, slam it back in their face, is so evil. But justified. And I really, really like that. But did he have to make it so freaking sad? Like, oh my god, I knew the very first little girl zombie was going to come back to bite him in the butt. I seriously knew that as soon as he described the little child zombie. And that story just made my heart shatter. That was such a good story. But yeah, this was a really, really good video. I really, really enjoyed it. The only thing that's missing is to animate it. But of course, animation requires a lot of time, skill, effort, all of that. So I do understand that why he just did like a single image and just have like a little bit of movement. Because I'm a huge fan of podcasts. Like I listen to podcasts a lot. And it's just me listening, so I'm 100% like used to this stuff. But to see something on the screen that doesn't move, it's kind of weird. Like, I'd rather have nothing at all, but I understand it's a YouTube video, you can't have nothing at all. So this was really, really good. It's like the best of both worlds. Like, it has a little bit of movement. I noticed the character was like moving back and forth like throughout the video and stuff, but just the way his voice is, like when he was talking as the guy in the chair with the heart, like that voice was amazing. Like I said in the video, it kind of reminded me of Thalius from Songs of War. But that was really, really good. He seriously needs to find a profession in voice acting because it was that good. Like, I'm not even trying to hesitate or nothing. But yeah, this was a very, very enjoyable video. So thank you, Joey, so much for this suggestion. I really, really enjoyed it. What I'm trying to say. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below because it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos like this one. So with that said, I have been Master Zero. Y'all guys have been fantastic, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Later days.